very, very warm welcome to Dr. Uli Bauhofer, highly respected doctor from Germany and a great seer of the wisdom of Ayurveda. So, Dr. Uli, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself before we begin?
Perhaps most of all the people who are listening and watching us will perhaps be interested how I came to Maharishi. It was in 1978. I was studying and then I was doing some medical practice in internal medicine. And then Maharishi asked me to come to Meru, to Switzerland, when I met him. And then I had the great luck and great privilege to spend more than 10 years in his close environment. And 1980, he started Ayurveda, and myself, together with Dr. Oliver Werner, were the first Western doctors who got involved in this. And Maharishi called us, then it was a September, I remember it very well, in Salisbury, when we just got a call. Maharishi was in India, and he asked us to come to India, to Delhi. And he said he had just a conference with the leading Ayurvedic doctors in India, and we want to jump now into Ayurveda, he said. And so next morning, we took a plane and went to Delhi. And then the whole journey of Ayurveda began. And it was very, very exciting, you know, with the three great Ayurvedic doctors, Dr. Divedi, Dr. Triguna, Balraj Maharishi, and we had the great privilege and honor to work with the leading Ayurvedic physicians there.
Companies, and they are quite receptive because, you know, this is a very new idea in the business world.
Yeah, especially energy management is very important because people experience, you know, there are so many managers who suffer from fatigue syndrome, a lack of energy, and therefore it's very important that they understand what we actually could do in order to build up our energy reserves again. And Ayurveda has a lot to offer in this respect. And especially also in the whole field of rejuvenation, longevity, which has become a very, very important topic, I think, all over the world.
Yeah, I think there is the double-edged sword of longevity because modern medicine has been there to extend life, but then you live longer but maybe suffer more. And this is where I think Ayurveda shines its light. And we can, you know, uplift the quality of life, not just extend it.
Longer and healthier lifespan. This is very important, that we always understand that longevity in the true sense, in the Ayurvedic sense, doesn't mean only to extend our lifespan, but especially our health span and also our happiness span, our bliss span, you know, which is extremely important. Because what is the purpose of live longer when we lose our meaning in life, you know? And this is extremely important that we understand why we actually should live longer, what to do with these extra bonus years.
Yes, and this leads us directly on to a great achievement that's just taking place in your life. And you have put out a book, and it's about exactly this topic. Am I right?
That's true, yeah. This is the book. You know, it says, it's a German, it says active rejuvenation. Active rejuvenation. You also have it. It's great. And it just came out, I think 3 weeks ago, and after the first week, it was in Germany it's called the Spiegel bestseller list, which is the most prestigious bestseller list in Germany. It's probably the same what they have in US with the New York Times bestseller list. So we were very happy, you know, that we reached the bestseller list there in Germany, and we hope that many people can benefit from the book, which the book is basically the merge of modern longevity research, the most up-to-date and state-of-the-art longevity research with Ayurveda. Because what is so extremely fascinating is that what modern longevity research and modern medicine, modern science actually propagates today is exactly what Ayurveda is propagating since thousands of years. And therefore, this book is really very, although it deals with the most ancient wisdom of medical knowledge in the world, it is absolute up to date and very, very modern. As we see when we merge it together, it's a beautiful wedding between modern longevity research and ancient wisdom. Yeah, about this rejuvenation, it basically is based on 6 pillars, what we describe in this book. After we went into the depth, what the state of the art longevity research is, why actually we are getting older, why we are aging, and what we can do in order to prevent this. This is what the Rasayana discipline in Ayurveda has this beautiful motto, Vaya Stapan, which means actually maintain your age.
A rasayana, for people who are new to the topic, means a deeply nourishing remedy. Huh?
Yeah, not only this, it's actually the discipline in Ayurveda. Ayurveda has 8 disciplines, and the Rasayana discipline just deals with preventing aging. That when you grow older, you should not actually deteriorate. This is the whole idea of the Rasayana discipline. And there are many medicines, Ayurvedic medicines, which are called the Rasayanas. But they are also our lifestyle, which is very, very important, because previously it was always thought that the aging process is determined by our genetic program, our genes. The genes determine how old we are getting and what is happening during the process of getting older. But nowadays, one has actually recognized that this is absolutely not the case. Now one considers the main reason, or what we can actually do, is lifestyle. Lifestyle is absolutely mainly determining how we are getting older. And only 10 to maximum 30% is determined by our genes. That means 70 to 90% is determined by our lifestyle. And there, Ayurveda plays a tremendously important role.
That's brilliant.
And there are six pillars which we are actually covering in this book. What we can do in order to prolong our life in a healthy state, in a happy state. And this is number 1, is of course our nutrition. This is the first pillar. The second pillar is exercise, physical exercise, very, very important, because it has turned out, this is very fascinating and spectacular. 20 years ago, it has been shown that our muscles are not only necessary for our movement, but our muscles are actually the biggest gland in our body. The gland, our muscles are altogether, our muscles are a gland. This gland, our muscles, they actually produce and excrete more than 600 hormone-like substances, into the body, which are extremely important for our metabolism. And there are even some scientists who said our muscles are the most important longevity organ which we have. So exercise, the second pillar, very important. The third pillar, sleep. Sleep is something what Maharishi always emphasized very, very much, and I have it deeply ingrained in me, because he always said, be rested. This was one of the very important instructions which he always gave us. He said, always be rested, because also your meditation, your meditation suffers when you are not rested. When you are rested and clear, then your meditation program has a totally different quality. So this is the third thing, sleep. Number 4, and there, TM actually comes in all 6 pillars. But what is very important is, of course, stress management in order to improve our resilience, our stress resistance. And there TM comes into the play as a very important tool. Number 5, detox. Also, again, Ayurveda, not only Panchakarma, because also the detoxifying tools which we have in Ayurveda, which we can have in our daily routine and incorporate in our daily routine. And number 6 is meaning and happiness, what we mentioned already before. Because what is very important, that we are happy when we are living. This is what Maharishi always said right in the beginning. He said, life is not suffering, life is bliss. And this we actually should develop, because the yoga state, samadhi, is Satchit Ananda. And this Ananda value, this should be incorporated in our daily life, in our daily living. So people should be happy and blissful.
Yes. And I see that you are really a walking, talking exponent of that. You look fulfilled, happy, and, no wonder people hear you properly. They hear you because you represent what you propagate. So this is
very nice that you are saying that, because I must say, at most of us, who had the chance to be with Maharishi and also learn from him and get his knowledge, he infused this to us.
Exactly. So, it's all this knowledge and all of this that you're offering. We can really thank Maharishi, because he grabbed that moment to launch Ayurveda, and how exciting that you were part of that, and with your incredible colleagues.
This is actually a very, very important part of this book.
Okay.
We have not only theoretical knowledge in it, there are, in every chapter, there is a roadmap, what we can practically actually do. It's a very practical book, what we can do in our daily life in order to prevent getting sick, in order to improve our health, in order to strengthen our system, our organism, and what we can do that we grow older and not get sick, but maintain healthy and be happy and be vital and be enthusiastic and be optimistic and be very, very, very curious, maintain our curiosity for life. Maintain stable and be nevertheless flexible, all these important values which are so necessary for having a fulfilling life. So these practical things are very, very important. And what I experienced in my medical practice, what is extremely important, that you are not trying to do too many things at once. When you notice, examine what are your daily habits, and then isolate a few, which are not so healthy. Every one of us knows which habits one has which are not so extremely healthy. And then start with 1 or 2, maximum 3 habits which you can change easily. And transform these habits which you have in health strategies. That means, just turn it around. Transform a bad habit into a good habit. Yes. For example, when you have, let's start with our first column, with food, nutrition. So what is very important in Ayurveda, what it's always said, make lunch to your main meal. And what is also, there's in Ayurveda is said, the yogi, he eats once a day. the bogie eats twice a day. You know, the bogie is the person who enjoys life.
Ah,
And the rogi, who is the sick person, he eats 3 times a day.
yes.
So, you know, when you are not an extreme pitta type person, you know, pitta is fire, and people who have a lot of pitta, they have a lot of digestive power. So when you can easily have only 2 meals a day without starving, then maintain 2 meals a day and observe that what is called autophagia. I think it's in English the autophagia. It means that you have a habit of having 16 hours of non-eating between the day yesterday to the next day. Let's say you have your dinner at 7 p.m., 7 p.m.,
Yes.
and then you wait 16 hours before you eat the next time.
Before you eat breakfast. Right.
Before you have breakfast, if you want to have breakfast, you know, many people have breakfast without being hungry. So it makes sense to eat breakfast when you are not hungry.
Yes.
Then just extend it and have your meal not during the kapha time in the morning when the digestive power, your agni, is not very strong, but extend it to lunchtime, you know, after 11, between 11 and 2, have your lunch. Because then your agni, your digestive power is strongest, strongest digestive power. Then have a lunch and always be sure after meals, you should not be tired. You know, when you are tired after meals, it means you have extended your digestive power.
Yeah.
You know, it means you have eaten too much or you have eaten too heavy.
Heavy. Right.
With respect to your digestive power.
Oh, right.
And then what is very important with respect to nutrition, stop snacking. You know, snacking is a habit which is not good. You know, when you snack, you always pull your sugar level into heights, and then you have constant these changes in your sugar level, and this actually triggers inflammatory processes in your system, and this is not good. You know,
this makes sense, right? This makes sense.
these silent inflammations in your body, they are responsible for many diseases from which people are suffering nowadays. This is also very important. You know what Ayurveda said, you cannot have a general rule for everyone. Because it's a very personalized medicine, and you always have to see where your dosha constellation is, where your imbalance is, and therefore you cannot say this is generally valid for everyone.
Right.
But in principle, it's good not to eat too much. You know, this is very important. This is it's the only really scientifically valid method for rejuvenation and extending lifespan is fasting and not eating too much.
Yes. Yes.
You know, this is very important. So and at night, don't eat too late.
Right.
And eat light, because this is also again kapha time and the agni is not very strong. So have a light meal, because this also improves your sleep.
Right. A soup is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best.
Yes.
And then you wake up in the morning and feel good.
Yeah. And then also you have to, you know, if your elimination is poor, then the whole thing gets messed up. You know, then you can't, it reduces your capacity for appetite.
So digestive tract is extremely important in Ayurveda and all systems of medicine. So the microbiome, you know, the bacteria in your intestinal tract are, of course, extremely important for your longevity.
Good.
And it all depends, you know, how we eat. My experience is that most people kill themselves with fork and knife.
Wow.
So it's
That's
very
something.
important, that you have good nutrition, a good
Yeah.
diet. And the
Yeah.
second thing, when we want to have a few tricks and recommendations, is that you exercise. Exercise regularly. It doesn't mean that you have totally to strain yourself.
Mm.
But for example, just a little thing. There's a Harvard study which showed when you have 8,000 steps a day, 8,000 steps a day, you reduce your risk for heart attack by 50%.
Wow.
8,000 steps a day. And, if you cannot make it to 8,000, then make sure that 3 minutes a day, you just push yourself, make some, how you call that, when you go down and up.
What?
Squats, yeah, some squats, or you jog on the spot when you
Right.
are on your desk and working,
Mm.
just 3 minutes. And this reduces your risk for heart attacks, according to a study of the University of Sydney, by 48%.
Wow.
And then another little habit which you can do, always use the stairs and don't use the elevator. Make the stairs your friends,
Yeah.
When you take one stair, it means you extend your lifespan by 1 minute. Every stair you take, 1 minute longer life.
I love it. I love it. So, stair by stair, we're drinking in your wisdom. It all rings loud and clear. Sometimes you have to hear it again and again and from an authentic source for it to really sink in. So, a closing comment from you, dear Dr. Uli. Thank you so much.
The comment is, of course, always be happy. This is very important for your lifespan, to be happy and to feel a meaning in life. And therefore, TM is so extremely important, that we are used always to be online with the outside.
Mm.
And that we never forget to be online with inside, to go inward and contact this beautiful state of yoga, of samadhi, of the simplest form of our awareness. And through this, because when we are there, your metabolism is going down, and there are so many studies which have also shown that we extend our lifespan and reduce our biological age when we are doing our program very regular. So TM should be an absolute priority in our life when we want to get older and maintain healthy.
Beautiful. That is the bottom line. So thank you very, very much.
It was a pleasure.
And a joy to connect again. And we look forward to another time with you.
Great. Thank you very much, Susie.
So much. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.